Hey everyone, it's Joe and Isaias here from the-automator. And during the hero call, we brought up the question that Isaias had mentioned before of like, how can you tell programmatically when a user's done typing? And this comes in really handy because often you'll be typing something in your search and you don't want, especially if you have, 2 or 3 thousand words it's searching across, you don't want it always querying every time as you're typing every character, right? So
Right.
Isaias created this little cool tool. He'll show you here how you can kind of watch for that just to understand. So you don't have to hit enter to say now go search, right? But
Exactly. We will see. So, and then the idea here is that, as you can see on my screen, we have this one box and just the word ready at the bottom. And this was just a simple demonstration. But the idea is that this is very common in chats and chat applications, in which when the user starts typing, it notifies the other person that you're typing. But then when you stop typing, it goes back to either not showing the notification that the person is typing or something that says ready or whatever. And you can see that it is doing it as we're expecting. As I'm typing, very good. And then when I let go, it just goes back to ready. And that was the question. So my question was, because, for example, we have a lot of tools in which you have a search bar. And when I start typing, you see that it starts filtering above. And that's good. I like that. But the problem is, yeah, when I was doing this for I think it was for Jeff, and we have a database with 28,000 entries. And if you type the first letter and then do the query, then you have to wait until that query is done. And then the program was very slow. So my question was, hold on, how do I do this in a sense of I start typing and let AutoHotkey know that I finish, and when I finish typing, then perform the query. That would make my searches way faster, especially if I have 28,000 entries, right? So the solution, as I was actually re-asking the question in the hero group, then I came up with like, but I can do that. Like, for example, the idea here is I create a GUI. That's basically the first step. I create an edit field. That's it. Now, on that edit field, the next thing that I'm going to capture is the event on that edit. And one of the events that I want to capture is whenever I change some values in that edit field. That's the value, the event that I'm capturing here. And the only thing that I want to do here, there are two actions. I'm going to separate these two actions into two new lines so you can see what is going on. One of the actions is that I'm setting the text to typing. That's as soon as you press a button on your keyboard, it will set the status to typing, which is what I want. But I don't want to remove that right away. So what I do then is that I set a timer on 300 milliseconds. That's about a blinking time. And I could put whatever number I want in here. That is just my understanding. I would say like about 300 milliseconds. And at that time, it will check if I finish typing or not. And that's basically, this is the part that I'm kind of like more interested in. And if you type another character, it will call the timer again, and so on and so forth. And maybe we can set this up into a minus 300 so that it's called once, because if not, the timer is being called over and over again. That was an oversight on my part. But after that, I just added the text call status, which is the one that I'm modifying up here. And then I show the GUI, which is what you see in here. We have the edit control and the text control. That's it. The timer here is the actual work. So every time you press a key, it goes ahead and checks whether your keyboard is idle or not. And this is the interesting part. This variable here tells me whether I have used my keyboard in a very specific time frame or not. And I'm saying, hey, if the time that the keyboard was idle is less than a certain bound, then ignore it because you were typing. You see what I mean? And that I made it 500 milliseconds. That's what I made it at this point. And if it is more than a certain amount of time, I also want to ignore it. Like, for example, if you have been 5 minutes away from the keyboard, I don't want this thing to be doing anything either, right? And then at this point, if this is just saying whether my time has been idle between 500 milliseconds and 5 seconds. That's it. That's what I care about. If it is, if I have been idle within that time frame, then I'm going to say, hey, the keyboard is ready, which is the part that returns back to, hey, I haven't been using the keyboard for a set amount of time. So as you can see, it is not that complicated piece of code. The second part here where I'm setting the text could be anything. I actually could use this to perform my filtering, right? I could do this for modifying my program or doing whatever I really want to do. In my demonstration here is just changing the text to ready. And when I reload here, I can just go ahead and type. So this should, in the end, go back to my, oh, right. Let me remove the one-time thing here. It should be checking every certain amount of time. So I do this, and then it goes back to ready. That's it. And I should turn off the timer once I do this here. So set timer, check finishing to false. That would turn it off. That's what it does. Because I don't want that timer running on the background all the time, right? Because this is a timer that goes every 300 milliseconds. But once I do set the status as I want it, then I turn it off. I don't want to be checking unless you type another character, which will turn it back on, right? That's what I mean. That's what I was looking for. But at this point, this is where I think is doing what I want. Hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully that would come up to something that you kind of like use in your programs. That would be great for many applications. In my case, I think I'm going to use it for searching, automatic searching. When I have a list like this and I want to filter it, I don't want to filter on each keystroke. I just want to filter once I've typed a number of characters when I have a very big list, right?
Yeah, but to your point, you could be triggering any sort of an action, right, based on that thing. So
Right.
it really opens up the doors to a lot of flexibility here. So hope you enjoyed that. If you learned something here, like the video. If you're new to AutoHotkey, and especially with GUIs, we have a great intro to GUIs course. Or if you're not used to working with objects, because V2, everything's an object, and we have a great objects course as well. So thank you for watching. And our courses have a double your money back guarantee, so there's really nothing at risk. Cheers.
Bye.